Oh my goodness, everybody's here. I just went to replenish my tea. What's going on? Looks like everybody has pushed that button and everybody gets to know the notification. Hello, Excalibur. Yes, you are one. Again, once after a long time. Joey, hello. Amritpal, hello dear. Excalibur is signing on 2 times now. Hello, Asso. And Asso comes right out of the gate with a question. Let me take a breather. I got to get my tea ready. And Alexandra, hello dear. Tiffany, good to see you, Tiffany. Lygia, you haven't been around for a while. I can't take first place with Excalibur as the Yes, that's right. Asso says, also, I really love to watch your live each day. It's like my favorite TV show. Okay, then promote your TV show. Lygia. Yes. I'm just, looks like I'm just narrating everything I see here. Empty chair, Michael says. Yeah, what's up? I just thought the tea I made was pretty good, so I ran half of it down in one gulp, so I thought maybe it's going to be a session that I would need more tea, so there we go. Excalibur says, I told you, Mehran, I was only analyzing the challengers like a predator, and they're pretty, yeah, right. You were just busy, you couldn't get to it, that's all. El Haj, hello dear. Christian Mulbauer, I hope I pronounced it right. Christian Mulbauer. Hi Mehran, greetings from Heidelberg, Germany. Oh, Heidelberg, Germany. Wonderful. Wunderbar. Wunderbar. I want to be number 1 too, Asso says. And Excalibur. And Asso says, Mehran, I'm also drinking Zanzabil tea. Oh, isn't that the same as ginger tea? Zanzibar? Is that, am I right? With mint. Stian, hello Stian. Hello, he says. And Tanya, hi Mehran, can you mention 3 good reasons to break up apart from cheating, lying, or other serious breaches of trust? Sure will. Let me just get my tea. Michael says, drinking a cold beer. Prost. Prost, okay. Okay, let me see. All right. Well, my tea can pass as tea or beer because it has the color of beer. Not alt beer, but maybe light beer. But contrary to a cold beer, it's nice and hot. With a nice sunny day, but yet chilly, that goes perfectly well. Now, let's see what we have here. David, good afternoon. Asso, right out of the gate again. How to deal with someone with big ego. Okay. I'm trying to find out. David, age 22,006. David is so right on the ball always with this, observing this protocol. Thank you very much, David. Age 23, Dallas, Texas. Excalibur, David is late. Yeah, but he's precise. Give him the kudos. Patrick says, hello, Mehran. Hello. Greetings from the Big Apple. New York, New York. Where everything happens, as they say. David. Okay. Mickey, hello, Mickey. You haven't been around for a long time. Mickey, I think she is in Florida. Am I right? Or Mickey says, I have a girlfriend and I love her so much. Oh, okay. We are, then maybe I made a mistake. It's not the same Mickey. Probably not. We are happy together, but her friend, which is girl, is so jealous of us and she's making everything to tear apart. Okay, we'll get to that too. Let me just say hello to everyone. Nastro says, dear Mehran, how's the situation going on so far today? I'm drinking coffee or tea now as well. Tea. What a coincidence. Okay, good. Amritpal says, mommy. I don't know what that means. Kudos, David. There we go. Excalibur. And we go on to... Okay, I guess now we've done all our greetings. The rest is chit-chat between you guys. I can now get to the questions. Patrick says, yeah, I'm Sambusa now. I want one. Sambusa. All right. Aso says, I'm 23, younger. Okay, good, young girl. All right, let's go back to the first question we got, which was Aso, I believe, saying, says, my question is, when love turn into heat, and why? I'm not quite sure what you mean, because love is the heat, isn't it? You've been friends or getting to know each other. Now, when the heat goes up, the love shows itself. Isn't that what you mean? And why is because then at that moment, the resonance of the two are pretty close, if not the same. It's like, you know, two people playing an instrument, both instruments sounding perfectly in tuned and starting from same notes and harmonized and sound great together. It's all resonance perfectly. So I guess, see, love is not just an emotion. Love is a frequency. And when you hit that frequency, you feel it. And it's like the note that has been hit perfectly well, and you enjoy the music, and it just caresses your soul, and everything is perfect. There is no division, there is no revision, there is nothing need to be done on that music, on that note. Everything is like a perfect orchestra, and you're enjoying, and you're both the player and the music. You're both the musician and the music. It's all one. That's where the love happens, in my opinion. But when it is just lost and looks like love, it's just simply covering the whole frequency of love with pleasure, and the pleasure takes over the place of the actual emotion, and it makes you think that you're actually in love, where you're really in lust. The feeling you have from pleasure and the feeling you have from the frequency of love are both wonderful, but they're two different things. That's why one of them has a short-lived, the pleasure. You cannot justify and find love in it after the pleasure has already been experienced. But when the one that is just love and is not covered up by pleasure only and is on a different level, it doesn't dissipate. It's continuous. But the pleasure is like, it goes hot and the pleasure is over. That whole experience of intimacy is over. And then you see you're not really that hot for each other, at least for a while. But the love has nothing to do with the oscillating feeling. It's like a music. From the beginning of to an end, there's a story, and a continuation is requested because it brings that feeling and that tranquility, that elusive psychological security in which you don't feel you need to do anything and everything is just perfect. Even though the material things and outside things, many things could be going wrong, but you have found an oasis in which it's been secluded and been protected from all other challenges and problems that you may be having in your life. That's why people seek love, and that's real love, not the pleasure that is doubling as love in your mind and fooling you. And often most of you think you're in love when you break up, which is really a state of having lost the pleasure that you're used to, the order, the mechanical process, the intimacy, and you think that is love. That's why you're so desperate to get that back. But if you realize there's a difference between love and pleasure, and not necessarily what you feel about having missed the pleasure is love, then you would be fine. You'd be actually, say, glad. If this wasn't love, it was just pleasure, well, okay, I can deal with that, and I can look forward for the real love and look forward to search more to find love rather than settling for pleasure, doubling as love. So I hope that is something for you guys to chew on that for a bit. Now, let's see if I have a question. Tanya, have I missed anyone's question in between? Tanya says, hi Mehran, can you mention 3 good reasons to break up apart from cheating, lying, or other serious breaches of trust? Yeah, not bonding on consciousness level. Look, there's enough differences in each one of us, our consciousness, that if you're not focused on compromising and understanding that this is normal and understanding each other's consciousness and find things in common and bond on that level, you will break up anyhow. So all these other reasons that you said means nobody has really, on top of the fact that bad behavior is creeping into that person, the cheating and the lying and all that. Also, there is no bonding on consciousness level. It's all physical. You want to attain something, so you're constantly going for your pleasure and the things that you want. That's hence the cheating. Because if you're really bonding on consciousness level, you understand why you're there, what you're really enjoying of that person. But again, let's don't be so quick on judgment. The cheating sometimes, it's only the need for that intimacy, which is programmed in the genes, mostly in men, that they are looking for procreation. They're programmed to look for female. It doesn't necessarily mean that the love for the one that they love is not there because they cheated. It's something that they haven't come to grasp with it, that is now a different era, and they're supposedly not to do this because the customs and legalities and so on says don't cheat when you're with your girlfriend, don't go and make love with another, have sex with another woman. But that's the rule, that's the custom, that's the new civilized regulation, let's say. But that's contrary to the actual makeup of a man. Man is not in his genes, this doesn't have ethical rules that when and why you shouldn't, what it means to the other. Is just programmed to look for female. But now we have learned that, look, in order to have a civilized society and a more organized one, you got to be committed to one woman. And it's always, for women's side, has always been pretty much loyalty to the one man that they're with. But it's always been the man that has been going after other females in the history of the world, in the history of humanity. Why? Because that is the nature of the program that they have for procreation. They're programmed to go seek and make love for procreation, because that's how the earth was going to be populated. So such a program in the gene was necessary, apparently, whatever has made us all to be here. Now, in time, economic reasons and civility and to give order to the societies that we're living in, human being realized that you can't constantly follow your program in your gene and go and have sex with this woman and that woman. They could be with another man, and that one could be with another man. They could be having relations. They could be, chaos was beginning to. So they came up with all these society and community and cultural rules and regulations, and suddenly this whole business became part of, you have to follow a certain rule. The woman became a commodity, supposedly, because everybody was after it because of the program they had, the pleasure and sex and procreation and all that. And then it was against, you know, it was supposed to be controlled because of the chaos that it had created. And if it wasn't, put some rule on it, there would be some, you know, differences in the way people would react toward each other. Always fights for a woman, always distrust, always insecurity. So they come up with all these regulations, and those regulations is now taking hold and becoming part of the new culture of humanity, to understand that, okay, as long as you guys are together, one woman and one man, cheating is bad. But yet the man is still having that program that was originally put in his genes and is functioning on that level, and haven't been able to control and comply and come to understanding that there are new ways of interacting with the society, and these old ways of going after whatever you thought that you should sexually connect with is no longer acceptable. So they're still in the infancy. Through civilized behavior, through learning, through logic, they're trying to curtail and control that behavior of that genome that is in there, which is going to be very difficult and takes a strong man not to indulge in outside of the relationship intimacy possibilities. So while it is frowned upon today, nobody is supposed to entertain this idea of extramarital or extra relationship affairs, but we have to also understand it's not totally under control yet, because it is just going against the actual program that is in the genome, and logically we're trying to control the instinct. That's going to take a bit of a doing, and many of us have been successful, and the best way possibly to help us in order to cross that bridge is to focus on bonding on consciousness level. Because if we don't bond on conscious level, there would not be enough strength of loyalty, love, and compatibility and harmony created between the two, between the man and his woman, or vice versa, or whatever your relationship is. And then if it's not enough bonding on that level, there wouldn't be enough respect and care to nurture that relationship, that feeling, that bonding. Not enough respect for it, not enough reasons for it, because you don't have enough bonding other than that intimacy, desire of instinct. So bonding on conscious level brings durability and longevity to the relationship, because you will see each one of you are a lot more than the pleasure that you can provide for the other. There's a lot more to you than just a physical entity, and you will connect on those levels. You'll fall in love with all those aspects of have made each one of your centers and each one of your entirety of the entity. And that's when the relationship could have much more chance than if it's just driven by the instinct as how it was thousands of years ago. Or 1,000,000 years ago. I don't know how many years ago. And that's a challenge. So, while it is definitely frowned upon, but let's still be a little bit patient sometimes in some cases when men make such horrible mistake and follow their instincts and program that they're still trying to deal with, to learn logically to subdue it, to be loyal to one woman. It's not hard, but especially in younger age, it's going to be a little bit challenging. But understanding that why you're doing it, it will help you to realize that it's not worth it. Because the reason you're doing it is not because you don't love your girlfriend, it's because you're following your genome and you should be aware of it to bond with her on consciousness level, so it'll be so much more feeling and reasons to love her that you can never find it in just another fling or another intimacy with another girl, no matter how much intrigued and infatuated you may have come to be by the desire to be with that other girl. Anyhow, so much to talk about this topic, but perhaps it's something to chew on. So, coming back to your question, I think we digressed from it so far. So, Tanya again says, mention 3 good reasons to break up apart from cheating, lying, or other serious breaches of trust. Abuse, physically or mentally. Manipulation, which stems from the person's, man or woman, whichever, selfishness. A lack of respect. I think that would be the 3. Lack of respect, manipulation based on selfishness, and what was the first one? I forgot. Whatever, there was a 3rd one. Respect, I guess, no? Okay, let's go on to the next one. I think I covered it. I said it. There are 3 of them there. There's a lot more, you know. Yeah, abuse, mentally and physically. Lack of respect, selfishness, manipulation. These are all reasons. Because if you cannot provide that elusive psychological security in a relationship, which comes from understanding your own needs. You know, if you go back to that famous sentence of don't do to the others what you don't want to be done to you, something like that. Well, look inward and see what is your need in a relationship. Why are you in a relationship? Beside all the other reasons that we know, the intimacy and the sex and all that so forth, and warmth and friendship, but there is that psychological security that you're in pursuit of. And you're trying to find that in love and relationship to be secure. And what that security means: security from being abused, security being emotionally abused, security from physically abused, security from being cheated, security to be away from being victimized, security from being lied to, security from having to watch and see if you can trust or not, security from not being able to count on your story of life the next day, security, and then psychological security is what encompasses the whole thing. So if that is what you're really looking for, why don't you understand that is what the other person is also looking for? So on that basis, you will have to take a little bit more. When you're really serious in a relationship, you have made your choice. It's not like you're just trying to find your choice. Okay, I understand that. You go with someone for a while, for a year or 2 or a few months, or it's not, you don't think that's what it is. Okay, fine. But eventually, when you actually commit yourself to say, okay, I've been with this girl or the girl, this man or whatever you're into, you realize that your relationship with your partner, it's gone long enough that you guys got to know each other enough, and you feel you want to be committed. This is the person. Unless he or she does something wrong, you want to see how far this goes. Then that's the time that you make your choice and you stay focused on you're there for psychological security and build on that. All right, let's go on with the next one and see what we have here. Mickey says, okay, let's sip of this. Mickey says, I have a girlfriend. Congratulations. And I have her, and I love her so much. Okay, that's good so far. Now, I just want to bring in another question in the middle of your question. Do you know why you love her? Or do you love the lust for her? Do you love the image you have when you're with her? Do you love the image of having such a girlfriend? Or do you love her? To love her, do you know her? Do you know who she is? Or do you know how her body and voice and smile looks? Knowing a person is different than wanting a person. Knowing your girlfriend is about what she's all about, what her consciousness is about, all about, how she was put together, what makes her tick. So to love her, you gotta know what is it that you love, and what is this what you love needs based on knowing her. One reason that relationships break up is because really neither one of you know each other. You love what each one of you does for the other. But you don't know each other exactly. You don't know the other to know what this person needs in her psyche that you can add to, or how to take care of. How can you take care of a flower when you don't read that little thing that comes with it when you buy it from the flower shop that tells you what species it is, what climate it likes, how much water, nutrition it needs, what fertilizer, whatever. How can you take care of this flower if you don't know what it is, what it needs? So in order to know what it is, what she is, or what he is, or what she needs, let's talk about one kind of relationship, I lose a train of thoughts, then you need to understand how she's put together, who she is, why she is the way she is, what is in her consciousness. Then you know what's there for you to feed, to help, to protect, to identify with, to recognize, to address, to pay attention to. What is it that you're communicating with? Her legs? Her body? Her face? Her hair? What is it that you love? You say, I love her. To love her, you got to know her. So the fact that you guys are simply loving each other's images, not how you guys are put together, is why it breaks up. How can you have a relationship with an image when that image on daily basis is changed? Every one of you and her, both, are constantly during the day, based on what you're doing, what you're facing, you're changing different images. We talked about it before. Yeah? You want to go in a restaurant, you're a customer. You have a different image. You're having food, well, you have an image of somebody sitting in a restaurant having food. You're buying fruits, you have an image of a shopper. And you're looking at the apple, you're suddenly a farmer in your mind, figuring out. Different images. You're in a bus, you're a passenger. You're talking to your mom or dad, you're a son or daughter. All these images is what you grab and let go and go to the next image depending on what you're doing. And you are in relationship with the image of your girlfriend. Your image that she has of you in her mind and her image that you have of her in your mind are interacting, are having a relationship. Your image of you in your mind with the image you have of her in your mind, and her image of her in her mind with the image of you she has in her mind are having a relationship. And as these images change based on what is needed and what changes takes place in you guys may have a different image, and then suddenly the images are having problem in their relationship because one of them changed the image, and now she is not part of that relationship between the two images, and the conflict and divisions suddenly start feeling like, why is she not responding that? Because she has a different image of herself in her own mind now, and you're oblivious to it. Why? Because you guys are behaving on image level. That's why you can't even know the images of each other in their own mind, or your own mind has changed. You still have the same image of the girlfriend as she was yesterday or a month ago, but she has a different image of herself in her mind. And suddenly she doesn't like you, or you see the differences and you wonder what's going on, because you guys never really took time to understand each other, who you are in love with, who you're having a relationship. Your center, the entirety of you, and her center, her entirety of her, are not having a relationship. The images are. And it's so easy, disposable everything. She or you, based on the image you think you have of yourself in your mind, will drop it because your need is now to have a relationship with a different image. So you see another girl walking by, she's got it all together in the way that you are in the mood for it. And suddenly you think, that image is what I want to be with. And then your image, based on what you think you want to be with, changes. Now you try to curtail to that. And then this one suddenly feels, why are you so different? Because you change your or imagine yourself by something else that you think you should pursue. And no longer these two images are interacting as they did. So problems, questions comes, and you don't know why. Why it broke up? What happened? Because you never had a relationship with each other. You had it with each other's image. So that's a very kind of a little heavy thing, but hey, it's out there. Think about it, and if you want more on it, go on my YouTube channel and there search for image and this and that, so forth, and it'll help you out. So anyhow, before we get too far into it and get lost, we can follow the rest of Mickey's question. I have a girlfriend, he says. I love her. Guys, please do me a favor. Don't forget the protocol. I can't see Mickey's picture here. It's small. I don't know if it's a girl or a boy. The explanation tells me, by default, I would think that he's a boy. Because, the way he's written the script here. But I could be wrong. So it would be helpful if you tell me, Mickey, from where, how old, and then man or woman, if your name or picture is not so clear for me. Because, Mickey, I know there's one of our subscribers is a girl from Florida. Her name is Mickey. And if I can't see the picture well, I don't know really how to address the sentences. So help me out, guys. It doesn't mean just because you've done it once, I will remember. I won't. As many times as you guys are here, I will not remember your age if your picture or name I'm not familiar with. So do me a favor, for the first few times at least, let me know so-and-so tuning in from where and how old you are, and you're male or female, if your picture or name is not clear for me. So that'll help me out to know how to deliver and how to properly put the sentences together and address you. Anyhow, getting back to that, Mickey says, I assume he's a young man. I have a girlfriend and I love her so much. We are so happy together, but her friend which is girl is so jealous of us and she is making everything to tear us apart. Well, there are two possibilities here, or maybe more. First is that she doesn't have a boyfriend, and obviously she was very close to your girlfriend, and she misses her friend, and she doesn't know what to do with her time. She's not a person who is really into building herself and so on. She wants to be, you know, having her own order together, and her order has changed. You are with this girlfriend, and suddenly you find yourself that you have to now comply to this friend of your girlfriend in order to have your girlfriend at least not feel you're an asshole or you're intolerant, or you just want to, you know, give a good impression. It's kind of a tasking and kind of annoying, because that girl should know that obviously her girlfriend is going to find a boyfriend. And when that happens, well, she should take a seat back a little bit, step back and let that go. How would she feel if she had a boyfriend and then her girlfriend would be constantly be jealous or whatnot? She would feel uncomfortable. So what she's doing, the girlfriend's friend is doing to your girlfriend, is the same. She's making her friend uncomfortable. But you need to rise above that. Your technique should always be speaking good about your girlfriend's girlfriend and say, well, it's okay, dear, I understand. You're such a special person. Everybody loves you, and your girlfriend is loyal to you, and she misses you. And I seem to be the villain here. But what can I say? I think you're great, and I like to be with you and get to know you better. So how can we make her feel comfortable? Maybe we should find her a boyfriend, set her up. Or maybe you would like to explain to her that you still like her very much and you're friend with her, and I'm not a threat, and you can just give some time to her. And I'm more than happy to, you know, understand this until she finds her own boyfriend and she has her own life, and she will realize that what she's doing, while noble and kind, but is making you uncomfortable, because that's eventually going to bring a little bit of a distance between us, thinking that we can't even handle our friends to have enough time for each other, let alone some other challenges may appear in the days to come or months to come. Something of that nature would tell your girlfriend how mature and understanding you are, and at the same time you have expressed your case about that this is not necessarily a problem, but it's not free of problem either, because I'm also being affected, which would mean the relationship could be affected, but not in a threatening way, in a cooperating way. And the other possibility is, which I don't know, maybe your girlfriend's girlfriend is into your girlfriend. I don't know. I mean, don't come out and say it that way. That might not, you know, sound right. And if they misunderstand it, they may think, you know, differently than you intend to. So be diplomatic there. Nasser says, okay, no, we saw all that. We talked about our chit chats, and let's see. Okay. Okay. Michael says, Mehran, you're assuming that the guy doesn't know his girlfriend. Perhaps he does. Well, perhaps he does. My discussion is general, not necessarily on that particular person. But if you listen to it further, it's deeper than just the person knowing or not, because the definition of knowing is really different. You can know of a person, or you can actually know a person when you're in a relationship, or having made an effort to know that person in the center entirety. If you would, Michael, look at some of the videos that we talk about the center and who we are, then it would become apparent that what I'm referring to. So, where are we? Larabe says, Aso, I have interviews. Okay, these guys are talking together. Larabe says, I already have some. Okay, that's it. Larabe says, just keep eating it. Okay, again, it's not for me. Aso says, Mehran, I'm nervous to be honest for my job interview tomorrow because I believe I screw things over all the time. What do you advise? Nothing. Just go in there, see what they want to say, and you answer. Don't go there to make it happen or not make it happen. Go there for what it is. You're there. Somebody's sitting there. Don't focus on result. Don't focus on result. Focus on the interaction. Focus on what is on the table to talk about. Focus on the activity, the effort you're making. You're there, and you're interested in the job, and you want to see what the job is. Don't go there to convince them. Go there to interact, and they will, through the interaction, they will get to know you, and you will get to know them. Maybe you wouldn't like the job. Why does it have to be? There's always perfect if somebody wants to give you a job. Maybe it's, hot air. So you go there with the idea of you got to ask questions, you got to know what it is, and you will answer the questions as best as you can find it proper. That's it. Don't focus on results. Yeah? Do not focus on the outcome. If you don't focus on the outcome, you will be relaxed. If you're focusing on the outcome, how is it going to be? What is it going to be? Am I going to get a job? Am I, what are they going to think of me? That's all nonsense. That takes you away out of yourself. Focus on simply the experience. That's it. And then you will do great. Simple. Don't try to overdo anything. Don't try to impress them. Just ask questions. Try to find information and answer their question. They're trying to find information about you. That's it. Don't try to convince them. Just be there. All right. That's for you. Lottie says, sometimes people are very confusing and difficult to read. You may want 100% to make someone happy, but some people are difficult to make happy. Yes, of course. And those people have a problem, and their problem is not you. The problem is themselves. They haven't learned how to even be happy for a day. They're always looking for something because they're incapable and selfish and lazy. They want people to do things for them rather than them taking responsibility for actions and then observe the limitations and the expectations of the society, community, and other people that they're interacting with. That's a little bit of a sick person. So don't bother about them too much. Aso says, Mehran, I admit I manipulated some people who had a crush on me. Now I feel bad and I want them to stay after they felt a little. I thought it was fun, but it got out of control at some points. It's never fun. It's because you're not sure yourself and you're trying to get them, by manipulating them, make you feel sure of yourself. If you're sure of yourself, you will never try to use people. You will be upfront with them. Even if you want to have sex with someone and you will not manipulate them, you will simply come out and say, look, I'm not sure what I'm looking for, but I'm not think that you or me are the right connection. I may still be looking for another girl, or in your case you're looking for another guy. You say, look, let's say you're a guy, you're talking to your possible girlfriend. You say, look, this is my street. I would love to get to know you, and maybe we'll have fun and so on, but I don't want to, I don't know where this is going to go. So maybe, and if you're going to have intimacy with her, just let her know that this is not about a relationship beforehand. Let her make a decision. Let her be in a position to know that she's not being manipulated. She has the right to make the decision if she wants to make love with you or not, knowing that you're not promising the world to her, or that you're going to be there, or you're going to marry her, or you're going to be her boyfriend or whatever. Clarity. You feel really manly by having done that, and you're clear, you're honest, And she is in control of making a decision on that basis rather than being fooled. And that's not good. Nobody will like that. You wouldn't even like it. So don't manipulate people. If you have shortcomings, if you think you're not really comfortable with yourself or capable, then you start tricking people. But if you think, hey, I'm going to build myself, if I don't like how I am, I try to do better and bring a better version of myself, but I'm not going to trick people. That's not going to come. Me is not going to come to the cost of destroying or manipulating or tricking or using other people. That's what you think, and that's what you should think. There's enough assholes and users out there, men and women. So you don't want to be a part of them. Step above. Now, Larab says, I know you asked the question to Mr. Mehran, but my advice would be, okay, that's advice. All right, Lottie says, ooh, I lost it. What happened? Every time I touch this thing, it jumps. Lottie says, I would be interested to have some ideas on how to know how to find the things that makes someone happy. Well, it depends on that someone. It depends on the definition of happiness for that someone. Not everybody is looking at what happiness is like you are or somebody else is doing. Happiness sometimes depends on the need of that person. A person who's hungry, you give him a sandwich, suddenly he's happy. But the person who's already had a full tummy, you give him a sandwich, he's not happy. Because what the heck is this? I just ate. It has no value for me. So same thing, it could make somebody happy, it could make somebody actually upset. Because, hey, I had a chance to get something better or something that would make me happy. This doesn't make a difference to my life. And some people maybe get happy by having a car. Some people may get happy by just having whatever illness that they're dealing with just go away and they become, perfectly well. And the time it takes for them to be healed would be shorter. And some people just get happy to see their children and their loved ones are flourishing and happy and strong and healthy and, dealing with life as wonderfully as they can. Happiness means different things for different people. But if we looking at a normal situation without any extraordinary challenges of health or whatever else that is, things that we may or may not have ability to resolve right away, and it's not disasters of that kind, then happiness could actually be on very simple level. As we talked about on the videos that we have, Success and Happiness, what is happiness? It's like, short videos that I have in there. It explains that happiness should be based on simple things like, I breathe, I'm alive, I can see, I woke up, I have something to drink, I have something to eat, I have a place to sleep, I have safety. That's it. That's happiness. But since most of us, not all of us, most of us have these things already, suddenly we've forgotten that that is really where all we need to be happy. But we've gone beyond what we've been conditioned to want. The needs are now making what person is happy or not. If I meet this need, if I have this now, because I've been conditioned to want more, to be more, to have more, so all that has changed my expectation and facts of what happiness is, and my definition of happiness is changed based on what I've been conditioned to want. I see that movie, I see that commercial, I see that girl and that boy and their homes and their cars, and I think that happiness means when I have that picture, that stuff. Happiness has become to be stuff when I have that much money, so I can buy that, so I can buy that. So through buying it, I can buy a gift for that girl, and maybe that girl will like me, and that is my desire, so I'm going after my desire. So then my ego is fluffed. So happiness is if I attend to my ego. Happiness is if I get my desires answered, fulfilled. Happiness is suddenly becomes totally different than what basic needs a human being needs to be happy and just build life on a reasonable scale. Instead, happiness has become to be more. You get a sandwich, you're happier if you get a sandwich and a half is given to you with the same money that you got. Or somebody's buying you a sandwich, you'd happier if you had more than one sandwich was given to you. Why? You only need one sandwich to be full. And you're not going to give that extra sandwich to somebody else. You're just going to hoard it. So the whole concept of happiness has become, we've been conditioned to think of it as a whole different concept. That's why people are having a hard time to be happy and to know even how to be happy. Now, how to be happy has no end. Happiness used to have an end. If you focus on basics of life, drink, food, sleep, safety, you would say, okay, I've got all the ingredients to be happy. Now, happiness is to be expanded. That's not enough. Happiness is to have this and that and that and that. So all that has been really diminishing the quality of life. I'm all for having lots of good stuff that I want, but I'm not going to make them to be prerequisite for my happiness. Happiness should be independent of material stuff. Just enough basic stuff, I'm happy. My loved ones are healthy. I have something to eat, sleep, and drink, and breathe. I'm healthy. I'm happy. The rest of it, okay, it's a game. Let's see how far we can go in this game. But making prerequisite of happiness to be all things, well, there's no end to it, which means you'll never be happy, because if your happiness is conditioned on getting all these things, and these things have no end to it, there's so many things that you want, therefore that means you'll never completely fulfill having all those things, which means they're connected to your happiness, prerequisite to your happiness, you'll never be happy. Make your happiness simple, independent of your desires, and then enjoy life. Hopefully that would be something for you to ponder. Ella says, I'm 23 from Minnesota. She keep making promises but never meet them. We were talking about marriage. I'm thinking about just letting her go. I really want to hear your opinion. She live in New York. Elhaj, I don't know her, and I don't know enough about you to know what you would be looking for in a woman, and I don't know her to know her character and see if you guys fit or match at all to make any suggestions. So if she's not meeting her promises, obviously she's not really taking it seriously. Perhaps it's your decision, not mine, I don't know, but perhaps you might want to step back a little bit and let her be in her own time, and get her mind together and figure out, is this relationship something that she wants to take it to marriage or not? And why are you pushing for marriage for someone who is not equally pushing for it? So when you keep offering someone, they think that what you're offering, because so often you're offering it, it's worth not much. So why should I choose it if it seems to be so readily available? Every turn he says, okay, let's get married. And then she will eventually say, well, if that's so, I have that, so why do I really want to get it? It's like saying, I don't want to have something that I can have. Can you think about it? I don't like to belong to a club that takes me as a member. It diminishes the club's value because you don't think much about yourself. Now the club that actually accepts you as a member, you think that club is not good enough because you think you're not good enough. So I don't want to belong to a club that takes me as a member. I don't want to have something that I can have. That means if I can have it, that means it must not have so much value. Same thing, you keep offering that marriage thing like if it's just something, and because maybe you're only motivated because you just want to have sex on continuous basis. Or you want to prove that by getting her, you got something, and now your family and everybody says, oh, he's married, and oh, he's got a wife, and now you've increased yourself in echelon. Don't try to increase and become a version, an image of yourself by getting all these traditional things done so everybody else's would look upon you differently. On their look, then suddenly you feel elated or changed or advanced in your own mind, in your own image. Don't do that. Go for after reality. See how she feels. Is she really loyal? Is she really loyal to her promises? Is she really fulfilling the combination of the two, the needs that each one of you have? Are you putting in enough equal amounts of efforts and fulfilling that mixture of you two to become more complete by contributing into that relationship and into each other's personalities and needs and so on, or not? You gotta weigh her as much as you think, oh, you're a man, she's a girl, so it'll be an honor if she accepts you. Why? Why? Because you're only focusing on your desire for the echelon, the image you have, the sex and all. This whole idea of you being a man means to be married and have children, or have somebody approve of you that wants to get married with you so you feel good about yourself. All that bullshit is making you think that suddenly she's better than you. Just see who she is, qualify her as much as she's qualifying you, and don't just simply offer just because she's a girl. So what? She's a girl. Yeah? You have a chance to be intimate with her, and sex is there because she's a girl. But what else is she bringing to the table? What else is she capable of contributing to this relationship, to this so-called family that you want to build? And you, what are you? Are you ready? Do you have all the credentials that you think you should have to get into a marriage, or be a husband, or be a father? Or do you guys really are hitting it off on all levels? Or is it just one level is good, so it's good enough, the rest of it will be okay? No, it won't. So figure all that down and don't sell yourself short, and be fair in the whole relationship and analyzation of where this should or could go. Pretty says, how can one develop oneself in every aspect? Ooh. And you want to get that answer here? Or is it a question that through lifetime you want? Well, in that case, go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, and book the biggest package that you find, and times 10, because it's going to be a long process. You would have to have a Skype consultation with me every day for an hour, or at least every week for a couple of hours, in order so we will organize this venture of development. So give me small questions, guys. You know, these are hard questions. Oh, did I? Excalibur says, Mehran, you skipped a sea of questions. Did I? Okay, let me go back. Yeah, this thing jumps around and I lose questions. But, you know, some of them, they're talking to each other. They're not talking to me. Hey, guys, before we forget, while I'm looking for questions, click on like, please. Last time I checked, there were like 20 people. And then when we finished, I looked, there was only 14 likes. You know, you're shortchanging yourselves now. Remember, we have a plan. We want to make this channel to be the channel of the where everybody can go to get their answers. So do share the videos that you like. Do click on the likes. Do make comments, and do all the things that you can do. Talk about it. And if you have, again, friends or connections with any television or radio or newspaper editors or whatnot, that they're always looking for 2-minute, 1-minute news, you know, encourage them to take a look at the channel and live talks and whatnot, and then maybe they can say something that will help us to be put on the map. So having said that, let me look for other questions. Oh, there it is. Bernard, yeah, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I see them all. Ooh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know Excalibur. I know, I know. But that's how that name is pronounced. So there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, but it must be short for something. But oh yeah. Okay. Okay, Stian. We are now going back to the questions that I missed. Stian says, have you ever talked about the stuffed toys and the other figure you have in your sofa? I'm just curious. Oh, I was just thinking about, where's it going with that? Stuffed toys and what is it, bear or something? And then, oh, you're talking about these things behind me. Let me see if you can see them. Let's see. Yeah, there. Is that what you're talking about? I've got Goku on Canadian flag colored design on a football. I have a little yellow bear and a blue bear, and then I have a fish behind me. Look, I don't know if you can see it any further. See, there's a fish there somewhere. So no, they're just cute. The stuff that I got when I was in a playland long ago with my son, and these are just lovely memories and have lots of good energy key in them. So I love to have them around. I guess it kind of fills in the kind of plainness of the couch when you want to make a video or something. Kind of give some colors. And the fish, again, one of those things I got in the playland, and it just there, good color, you know, and fish is good. I guess it's I guess in some cultures resembles life and movement, and I don't know. It's just no specific story about them. Unless you have a specific question, but there's no specific stories there. Amritpal says, my ex knows I love her a lot and her ego is up in the sky. I saw her today. Okay, is there a question in there, Amritpal? I don't see a question there. Okay, so so says, I know, oh, she's talking to somebody else. Okay, good. Something says, hi Mehran, hello something. I think you gotta give some other kind of screen name with that, otherwise. Excalibur says, Mehran, I'm curious about something. I forgot to ask you many times. I've been through 3 breakups, and of course it gets easier every time. No, it doesn't. And I'm fine and in a relationship now. Okay, good. It gets easier when you know about the stuff that we've talked about on this channel. Then your mind is actually looking at it not based on need and desire, but looking at it that how desire is born, how need is, how it is that, why it is that you feel the way you feel. So you know about it, and therefore it's not a mystery. And when it's not a mystery, you have acknowledgement about it, you have knowledge about it, then you're not affected in that way. You know that there's all kind of other possibilities out there. That's why it becomes easier in that way. Otherwise, going through every one of them is still going to be, you know, challenging, hurtful. And Excalibur continues, but I always found it fascinating when the heartbreak is still fresh. It's repulsive to think of yourself with another girl, even if she's prettier. Why is this happening? Because there's an emotion involved, and the emotion was created inside you. That emotion belongs to you. That emotion represents you. And if you diss that, go against that, and go with somebody, some other girl, when you're still fresh in the breakup mode, you think that you're betraying your own emotion, which means you're dissing yourself. And you don't want to contradict yourself, because you feel that, and that's you, and you're going about it. It's like, I don't want to. It's like you're already full. You just had full course of meal, and then you can't look at another course of meal on another table because you're full. Now, emotionally, after a breakup, you're still full and in need, desiring of that particular food, particular emotion that you're used to. You want more of that. First, you're full of emotion. You can't accept other emotions. Like you're full of food, you can't accept other food on the other table. Secondly, the kind of emotion that you've been having, you want more of that. The kind of food and dessert that you've been having, you like that. You have the taste for that. You want that. Unless on that table is that dessert that you're looking for, you've been having, on that food that you've been having that you want more of, you won't be interested. Until that food is digested and done with it. Until that emotion is dissipated. Of reasons you find for it to be dissipated, reasons you find for it that wasn't a good relationship, reason you find for it that you don't want to be with that girl anymore because of this reason, that reason, all that may take time. And you become free of needing her to affirm you, because having been rejected makes you feel like it was something important. She's better than you thought because she didn't want you. What doesn't want you, you think is better than you. And that's what entices you to want more of it. That's all there is. That's why you can't even think that you be with another girl, because you think you're betraying who? She's no longer with you, but you think you're betraying your own feeling, which that is even tougher, because you've decided that she's really the one that you want, and now somebody else means you're betraying your own emotion and thoughts about her, and you can't go against your own decision that this is good, this is what I want, and now somebody else, unless that dissipates and you're ready and hungry again, and you can begin to see that new girl as she is, not in the reflection of the shine that bounces back from your previous girlfriend, which doesn't let you actually see her as she is, which makes you not really know how valuable this new girl is. So you won't have the appetite for her. You won't have the interest to get to know her, because you can't even see her. She's overshadowed. The reflection of light from the sun bouncing over your previous girlfriend is hitting her. You're seeing her with the eyes of the past. You're seeing her with the eyes that has the image and face and picture of your ex-girlfriend there. You're constantly looking at her, but expecting to see your girlfriend, because she's a female, because she has the promise of intimacy, because she is soft and beautiful, because all that used to translate your girlfriend, and now you're looking at all that, but you can't see her, because still the old translation of what woman is to you is coming and covers who really she is. So you'll miss to know how wonderful this new girl is until you're ready. So that's pretty much the gist of it. I hope that would be something for you to think about. Okay, now, Bernard says, Mehran, I went on a date yesterday. Congratulations. It went well. Good. Now, I'm wondering, how often should I organize a date and talk to her over the WhatsApp act? Probably 1/10 of the number of times that you feel like it. Then that becomes normal. Because when we boys, we like a girl, we go all out, because the whole idea of intimacy and the hormones get into the picture, and the desire for her and the sex that we want, all that doesn't let us to be balanced and cordial toward her expectations of attention. We flood her with attention, which we really don't know why, and the why is of course because of the hormones and the genes and intimacy and your interest for all the rest of it, and also to fill in what is missing, and all that makes us to overdo it. And then she kind of feels like, what the heck is going on here? She doesn't think she's that valuable to deserve all that attention, because there has been no history to prove to you how wonderful she is, the addition to your life. So she hasn't proven anything, so doesn't think why that much of attention she deserves. At the same time, she feels like, okay, maybe she's not where you are at the moment. Maybe she will feel the stuff that is coming to her so freely, but that would be an indication that you're not really that kind of a catch. So you need to actually package yourself a little bit better. Have a little bit of face of balance and patience, and be there for her when she needs, but do get in touch with her every, see how many times she gets in touch with you every day. Equal amount. And make sure your texts are not, overly exciting. Just be genuinely excited. Don't try to entertain her. Try to get to know her. The girls really not necessarily thinking that of themselves the way you think of them. So they're expecting to be treated normally. But when you go all out, they think, oh, well, gee, then maybe he's not good enough for me because he's really all out. Because I don't think I'm that hot, she thinks. Even if they're really pretty in your eyes, they still don't think that. Because how they feel about themselves is not because of how they look. Yeah, it has something to do with that, but not so much. Human being feels about oneself because of the way the movements of the mind and the consciousness, the movements of the thought and the consciousness, how the conscious put, how their needs are, what their insecurities and fears and concerns are. That is how they're seeing themselves. But you only see their entity out there that are all so doed up and perfect and beautiful and clothes and all. You just focus on, if they look good, then they're smart. If they're sexy, then therefore they're everything. This is how most men look at girls at the outset. But if you come down about it and try to see not just the shine of the diamond, but the inside of the diamond with that magnifying glass to see if there are cracks, colors, and impurities in there, then you get to know the diamond. But the shine, every diamond has a shine. So every girl is pretty in the world to somebody. So you see a girl pretty, that is not supposed to represent smarts, intelligence, loyalty, responsibility, reasonability, all that other things that you expect from a woman. No, she's just aesthetically pretty. That's one criteria. The rest of the criteria still got to be found. So don't go overly out, because you don't know all those things about her, to offer her all this attention. She's not yet proven to you that she's qualified for that, all that. And if you give something to someone who's not qualified, because that person knows himself or herself that is not qualified, thinks that what you just gave them is not worthy, because it's been given to someone who's not qualified. Somebody comes after the university and you make him president of such and such corporation, as big as it is, he's going to think this is a joke. He's not going to think that, suddenly I'm wise and experienced in business and I can do international deals and all. No, he's not going to think. He knows he can't. So he says, why am I being given this position? That means this position is shit. It probably has no echelon, no importance. That's why they give it to me, because I have no importance. He knows it. I have no experience. So this is how the reaction would be if you overly go out there just because you liked her, you know, she's pretty and you had a nice date. Okay, gentle now. Qualify her and let her qualify you. Let her breathe and you breathe. And 1/10 of number of times you want to get in touch with her. So I hope that would be some guideline, a helpful guideline. Something says your words are impressive. Yes, but I'm not a Jedi yet. Do you remember that episode? Darth Vader says, impressive, but you're not a Jedi yet. When he was dueling with his son. Anyhow, so we are looking at yeah, when he was dueling with Luke in that chamber where in the Death Star, I think it was, where the Emperor was there, and before Luke met Emperor, they were dueling. You're not a Jedi yet. So yes, thank you for the kind comment. Something says, Mehran, what is the reason girl ignores man after having 4 years of love? Because the girl hasn't come to know what she's all about and what she wants in life, and she doesn't have enough aspiration and confidence in herself, hasn't accomplished anything. Therefore, she thinks maybe she can get that affirmation or accomplishments or whatever it is through another relationship, because she couldn't get it through this relationship, because maybe that's why she came to this relationship, in order to become accomplished, in order to get some kind of a affirmation or some kind of a echelon by being in a relationship with you. But it never happens. Individuals supposed to accomplish on their own, become a better version of their own. They cannot find that in a relationship. If they come with that in mind into a relationship, then eventually they see they can't get that. Then they start looking for other relationships in order to get it there. So that's possibly what she has been doing. Don't allow behavior of your partner, whether you're a girl or you're a man, behavior of your girlfriend or boyfriend define you. They are defining themselves with their behavior. It's a reflection on them. It doesn't mean just because they don't love you, suddenly you're no good anymore. And you shouldn't think that what you did for the so long 4 years, how the relationship was, it's an asset for keeping the relationship together. They are a dynamic. Each one of you are dynamic. They're constantly changing. All your atoms and molecules are changing. What's made you is changing. Your consciousness is changing, is reacting to different things in every day on different ways, because everyday consciousness is modifying itself a little bit different, and then the reactions of the things that they encounter with, which was the same thing as they encountered 2 weeks ago, but now it's different because the consciousness level, the playing field has been changed. So the reaction from this playing field, from having the same stone fall into it, is going to be different, a different bounce and different echo, and therefore all those changes is constant. So you can't think that what you did in this relationship would actually still be enough, or still be considered as noble, as appreciated the same way as they used to. Now the standards has changed. So suddenly they may not see the whole thing the way they did, because they don't see themselves the whole way, and they may not be satisfied with what they have accomplished in that relationship, or in that span of time that the relationship was going also, and they're going to blame the relationship. And they think, now that I'm not as shitty as I used to be in myself, about myself, I'm elevated, I'm accomplished a little bit, I'm a little bit better. I want to go somewhere that that new partner doesn't know about how incompetent or how unaccomplished I used to be. They're trying to escape from their own image that they had of themselves, and they still remember how it was a few years ago. And in order to do that escape fully, they change partner. Because they say, this partner, this boyfriend or this girlfriend knew me when I was a loser. Supposedly. I'm just using the word. Or when I wasn't accomplished as I am now. And I don't want people to look at me as how I was. I want them to look at me as I am. Therefore, I'm going to break ties with this person who knows where I came from, how I was, and how, you know, I had to advance myself and learn things, and I didn't know what I know now. So therefore, the next person will look at me as if I've always been this wise, or this wealthy, or this look. You know? Sometimes, you know, sometimes people who have some kind of cosmetic surgery, some girls, you know, like they had, you know, a different size of, you know, breast, and they have a cosmetic surgery, and now they have a different one. Or their nose was different, and they did a plastic surgery, and they have a different one. And now they don't want to be known as how they used to look, because they like their new version better, and they want to say, this is I am, not that. And one of the things they do, they cut off with this boyfriend. They go to another one. Not necessarily always that, but you know, some do. Some low opinion, people of low opinion about themselves, they do this sort of thing. And this is the same as what I just explained about accomplishment level and who they were and how much they knew, what kind of class they were, what kind of interaction they had with the society. Maybe they even didn't know how to sit in a restaurant and properly have their food when they were with this boyfriend of theirs that seemed to be a little bit more advanced in life or aware of social behavior or lifestyle than she was. Now that she's maybe got her education or got a job or somehow she's accomplished a little bit better or looks different, suddenly she wants to now be not known as how she is, so she's going to cut away from the person that would actually help her, or you know, if your girl helped him to get where he or she is now. I remember I met a flight attendant many years ago in a flight from Germany to Vancouver, and she was rather into herself, and I was always had a nature of a helpful nature, and we got talking, and I considered her mood, and I asked her, what's going on with you? The energy is a little bit different. And she opened up and she told me that she had a boyfriend that had a difficulty in speaking, stuttering. And he was very introvert, shy, and not confident. And it was a different kind of subdued character, not happy about it. So she said that she paid and helped him through speech therapy and paid for all the bills through the a few years that they were together, and the man overcame that stuttering, and speech therapy helped, and all the efforts that she put into it to help him to overcome that challenge that the boyfriend had, and he became much more extrovert because he didn't have that hang up anymore, and he succeeded more, and then he left her. And I concluded for her, or we did it together, I don't know, it was many years ago before I was actually doing all what I'm doing today. We concluded that he left because he didn't want her to know where he came from. He wanted people to look at him as he is now, not somebody who knew his background, that how he was shy, introvert, not confident, not sure of himself. Now, after all that effort that she did and helped him, and she still loved him, she hadn't changed. It was his image and his incompetence. In fact, he proved with that action that he has no ability, no confidence. The confidence is actually worse than before because it's now mixed with lack of appreciation and grace and gratitude. So, these are some of the reasons that people, do things of that sort, because they're escaping from their own past, they're escaping from their own shortcomings. It's not a reflection on you. It's not that there's something wrong with you. They just want to cover it up because they're into images, pretension. And that kind of person you don't want to run anyhow. It's not an honest person. You can't be honest with yourself. You can't be honest with the other people. Pretty much. All right. Fakhir says, why do we look for answers and investigate things about why was she lying or what exactly was going before we break up, and then forcing me to initiate the breakup so I get all the blame? Why do we look for answers and investigate things about why was she lying or what exactly was going before we broke up, and then forcing me to initiate the breakup so I get all the blame? I'm kind of a little confused there. Why are someone is investigating why she lied? Why is the boyfriend investigating why she lied to him? And then after that, the girl makes the boyfriend who investigated her lying to break it up so he will seem to be at fault. Because nobody likes to be shown that she lied. She was fine and feels secure when her lie wasn't out. Now that she is known that she lied, it's discovered, she doesn't feel good about herself, and she doesn't want, and she's now taking revenge that you didn't let me have that hidden and get away with it, so you're at fault, and I'm gonna take away what you want, which is her body probably, or the relationship, somewhere else in order to... But that's not the real reason. The real reason is that the fact that she lied, whatever the reason for that lying was, is the reason she's leaving you. Which means it wasn't working. So if it wasn't working, it doesn't matter what the reason is. Don't get hung up on that, guys. Who cares what the reason is? Focus on the fact that this wasn't a good connection. This wasn't a good relationship. That's why it didn't work. Because if it's good, then none of this would happen. No lying would take place. No lying that you couldn't, handle would take place. No leaving, no, all this nonsense will not take place. If it does, focus on the fact that it does, not why. Doesn't matter why. The good news is that you're not with someone that it wasn't working for whatever reason. That's the good news. But everybody misses the fact that breakup, there is a good news in there. And the good news is that you are saved from going through being bamboozled or having to deal with a relationship that wasn't going to work anyhow. But you missed that because you're only focusing on the momentary pleasures and the things that was forming your order, your mechanical process, what you were used to, the images that you had, all the things that you thought, all that you're focusing on rather than focusing on, I'm saved because I just found out I've been spinning my wheels on a relationship that actually wasn't going to work, and now I'm seeing it's not working. Thank God I can see it now. So I can now focus my time instead of later on finding out that it's not working, maybe a year from now. I found it now. And now I can work on some other relationship that possibly is going to be chosen, selected better, on better things that I should consider, better standards, and then, you know, go from there. All right. Aso says, Mehran, I'm scared of the future and my mind tends to screw me over in my university life, and I get so disappointed when I fail. How to reprogram my mind to think in a better way? You don't have to reprogram your mind. You just got to tell yourself, hey, why am I thinking this way? I'm doing my best, and whatever comes, comes. What can I do? I cannot control, you know, the oceans. I cannot control the wind of the oceans. I cannot control anything. All I should do is to focus on how to keep the balance of my ship. That's it, which means I do my best, I prepare well, and I sit on and start rowing. Now, if there's the tsunami coming, that's not my fault. I tried as best as I could. Okay, toppled. That's not good, but I got to keep the balance. So doesn't matter the tsunami, doesn't matter the weather. I just got to keep the balance. So don't expect everything to go exactly as you want. You just do your best. And if it didn't work out, then go and do a different thing or try it again. That's all you can do. But thinking that, no, everything has to go the way I want it, and if it doesn't, it's a disaster, then you think it is actually a disaster. It's not. It's just part of life. So just cool it. Don't expect too much from yourself. Just expect to do your best. That's all. That's all you have to do. Can people who manipulate others ever change? They may or may not. I guess maybe they learn a lesson if somebody manipulates them or tells them to get lost because of your behavior, and then maybe they get the idea. But I don't know. Patrick says, hi Mehran, how does one move on and be at peace with the relationship ending, as well as how do you know once you have achieved this? Well, you don't have, it's not that, once you move on, you don't have to now know that I've moved on. I got to look at the lines on the road to see my car is moving. Well, listen to the engine. Engine feels good, is going, is not stuck, is not stopped, is moving. That means you're moving. You don't have to constantly stick your head out of the window to see, oh, do I see these lines on the asphalt is passing by, then now I'm moving. No, you can know that you're moving. When you're moving, you know you're moving. So when you have achieved that level of, you know, comfortableness that, you know, you've moved on from a relationship, you'll feel it. You'll see that you're interested in other girls, you're socializing more, you're not sad, because the longer it takes for you in a breakup, you get kind of conditioned to be sad. So one day, even if you're happy, you think there's something wrong. Why is something wrong? Everything is good, but why am I something wrong? Because you condition yourself to be sad. So you're wondering, why am I not sad? Because you're used to being sad. That has become you. Cut out of the breakup mood as soon as you can, so you won't end up conditioning yourself to be sad all the day, and it takes you longer to get out of that mood when you have moved on already. So that's pretty much why you would feel as you know, if you haven't moved on, because you have moved on, but because you're conditioned to feel sad and you're not feeling sad, you still think there's something wrong. Don't focus on that. Focus on the fact that you're enjoying new friends, new things, you feel good, you feel hopeful, and you don't give a damn about what it was. Oh, okay, bullshit. And then you know you've moved on. You don't need the contract says, sir, there's a certificate. Now you have moved on. You don't need that. You can issue that yourself. Go write on a piece of paper that I have moved on, I concur, and that's it. All right, now we're back to where we were. I think I caught up with everything here. Now we're going to other questions. Have you guys pushed a like? While I'm looking forward to catch up with the questions here. Again, jumped. Gee, that's becoming difficult. So Bernard said to Mehran, I went on a date yesterday, I don't want to overnight. Okay, it went well for, okay, we talk about it. Okay, we talk about that one. Then Robert says, male 33 USA, the video on negative thoughts was valuable. Any comments on post-traumatic syndrome, anxiety, problem solving and fight and flight takes over my mind when bullies re-enter my space, a big toxic distraction. My gentle and intellectual nature attracts people who are adverse that, so they focus on attacking it in work and family. Attracts people who are adverse to that. Okay, is there a question here, Robert? Any comment on post-traumatic syndrome, problem solving and fight and flight? Well, I have, these are big topics. I won't be able to talk about it in a few minutes because it needs to go back and cover certain things and then come back. We're talking about fear, what is fear, and we can discuss that, and then we're going to talk about the role of your ego, then we're going to talk about the role of your need and desire, and the importance of people and things equal to your need for them, your desire for them, and all that. We're going to cover all that separately. Then we come back to your nature and the fact that you choose your girlfriend or your friends that are bullies because you think you attract them. That's not true. There's something else we got to talk about. So I think that is one of those questions that you need to possibly go on my site, mind@6truth.com, and make an appointment on one-on-one consultation, and then we'll explore the roots of it. This is not something that we generally speaking, every person's reasons for what you describe could be different. So Robert, sorry I can't, because that will be like few hours by itself if I want to cover generality of it. The specific cases itself it's going to be a long discussion, let alone you want to cover the whole concept of it. So, I'm sure you understand. Black Hat says, hi Mehran, I'm 30-year-old male from Argentina. Thank God that somebody follows that protocol. I have an idea who I'm talking with. Because obviously, just, you know, let's be fair, guys. From the word, the screen name Black Hat, I can't know what it is. And from the picture, there is no picture. So if he wouldn't have helped me to see that he's 30-year-old male from Argentina, would have no idea who I'm talking with and wouldn't know how to be more helpful in delivery of what I want to respond to his questions. Says, I have been talking online to a 33-year-old female for 3 months now. She came over to my town and we spent 3 amazing days together. She lives far away. Yeah, I think we talked about that, Black Cat. She lives 500 miles away, and you know there's no future for you guys, but you just want to see if you could meet with each other once for sex. Am I remembering it right, or am I mistaken? And he continues saying, now I'm thinking about moving to her town. Oh, I see. That's different maybe. Should one move to another town and leave family behind to pursue a relationship? Also, can you be in love with someone after seeing them in person only for 3 days? These were some of the best days of my life. Oh, I mean, come on, let's be frank. You meet someone, you spend 3 days, and you had the best time in life, because in 3 days short time, there is so much to do that if you're only committed to the fun part, it will be the best days of your life, because it's all about what? The expectations and anticipation for getting to know each other, for holding hand, for kissing, for sex, having dinner, dating, romantic. All that emotion is so overwhelming. It's not going to run away within 3 days. It's not going to, you're not going to be satisfying, fulfilling all the scenarios that you guys could have shared in romantic dating, of different activities and different places to go, different things to talk about. You're so much more than 3 days, both of you. There's so much there to share. But there are also things in there that you didn't even get to it, which there could be totally not cool about either one of you liking each other's chapters, that chapter of each other's consciousness. So 3 days should not be enough justification for you to bloody move your town. It's not about leaving your family away. It's not about that. It's about how much do you know of this girl? You know, you were hungry. You came to a table full of food, and it took you 3 hours to eat and feed yourself and feast, desserts and, you know, the good drinks and water and food and barbecue and this and that, or whatever you're into, vegetables and stuff, and then and dessert, and then atmosphere, and I don't know, whatever else that you want to drink. And the whole thing was new and novel and pleasant, and you had no responsibility. You, at least you took break away from all your responsibilities or things that you were supposed to maybe worry about, as you do on daily basis. On those 3 hours, you were just feasting, and then you're going to say, I should move to this town because the food was good. Is that enough? Or maybe you should wait a few days after you eat that food, see if you get diarrhea or not, if you vomit, or if you get some sickness. Or maybe your food was okay, but there's some stuff in the air, bees, flies, things that will show themselves. Or maybe people won't be friendly. You know, they say, they say somebody dies and goes to the gates of heaven. And the angel comes at the gate and says, well, since, you know, you have done some bad things that you're going to go to hell, but you've also done some good things. So while we can't take you to heaven, but we're going to give you a choice of choosing what room of the hell what punishment of the hell, which part of the hell you want to go. So at least, you know, that's something we can do for you, because you've done some good stuff, but you've been a terrible person as well. So he says, okay, that's fine. He says, so they took him on a tour to hell. One room was like fire and burning, and so, oh, no, I don't want it. One other room was they were whipping somebody or whatever. I said, no. And the other room was, you know, they were just, I don't know what they were doing, you know, cutting his hand off or whatever. And the other room, he saw that there's a big pool full of shit. And everybody's sitting there, somebody's smoking a cigar and somebody's reading a newspaper, and they're all in shit, their heads are out, and they're, you know, maybe drinking tea or, you know, smoking a cigar or reading newspaper, or in this thing maybe playing you know, Game Boy or whatever it is, a laptop. So he said, hey, you know, this looks decent, although everybody's in shit, there's a pool of shit, but their heads are out and they're doing something, so I'll take this one. He said, you sure? He says, yeah, we'll take this one. So, okay, go ahead, we will condemn you to this room of the hell, and this is going to be your punishment. And just as he was walking out of the room to get ready, they announced, okay, 10 minutes break is off, the head's on there. Suddenly, because you, from what you're seeing, you can't really know that's the whole story. So you had the good food, but you don't know really what's going to be behind this the next day. Maybe the dinner is going to be nothing. Maybe they only eat once a month, that good. So you had a 3 good day with her, 3 good days, and you're going to judge her who she is on those 3 days that it was all pleasure? Not a good idea, right? Why don't you go for a visit for a while, see her in action, or maybe she comes there. Suddenly moving in there for 3 days, I don't think that's a good sampling. Not enough information. That's my opinion, but who am I to say? You had the fun, so you can't think, so maybe you don't want to listen to reason. All right. Frank Michetti. Hello, Frank. Black Hat says, nah, I'm thinking about moving. Okay, we said that one. Also says Mehran, I want to be simple person, but it's hard with all of those games going around nowadays. Relationship games, money games, and everything else. How to cope? Just you find your own niche. Be the way you like to be. You don't have to pay attention what goes on. Be independent. Do your studies or learn a job that you want. Make your own money, then cut your own tickets. Write your own tickets. Live the way you want. Associate with the people you want. Be as simple as you want. But sometimes saying that I want to be simple is like also, I'm not saying that you're saying that, but sometimes is also a way to escape. Say, I just want to be lazy because I want somebody else to pay for the things that I want, and I'm not really up to it to go and get it. Don't want to. It's not that you don't enjoy all the good things out there. You just don't want to suffer for it to get it, and you want somebody else, which means you end up accepting somebody as your husband who just has money but not necessarily anything else in the way of getting to know you and having a relationship or bonding. So watch for that. Watch for that trick of, oh, I just want to be simple, and then you end up being manipulated by someone that you can see, well, if you choose that guy, then you can be having enough time and opportunity to be simple, have a simple life. Watch out for that. Best thing is to build your life the way you want, accomplish yourself, go get a job or a way to make money, be independent, and then see how far you want and how much you don't want, and then regulate your life on that basis. Robert says the question about text call frequency was a good one. Okay. Bimal says, you won't believe even I have a job interview. Okay, you're talking to me. You guys are talking to each other. That's good. Bernard says, thanks, man. Love this channel. Okay, good. Then promote it, for God's sake. I've got 14 people here, but I bet you at one time it was 20. So I want to see 20 likes in there, guys. I hope I won't be disappointed. By the way, any comment about the thumbnails? You know, Alper sent me a bunch of beautiful stuff and blanks, and I've been filling them out. And then just today, I did my homework and shortened titles, and he sent me back. I sent it to him. He sent me back 200 new thumbnails that I'm going to be placing it as the days go by, and then I'll do the rest of it. Eventually, within a month or so, we should have all the 700, 800, 900 whatever video that we have already released and published, not in the private section, would be with new thumbnails. And I hope that will help us to get on the map or get more attention. In the meantime, please do like, please do share, and you know, do make efforts to get the channel known, if you will. Now, Excalibur says, Mehran, I was in a park with a friend today, and I saw a black Bentley with a driver that looks a lot like you, and I say to myself, holy shit, is that Mehran? That I figured if that was Mehran. Did you say, out of all that you mentioned, the black Bentley and all, I was the driver? Or you mean I owned the car and I was driving the car? If I was the driver with the driving hat and all that, well, you know, they can have it. But if it was me sitting there, oh, maybe I have a double. Yeah, if it was me, you're right. It'd have a big mind that seeks truth.com sticker on the bumper. So that's why you knew it wasn't me, right? Just for the sticker. All right. Bernard says, that's funny how. You know, funny thing is that by the time I get to your comments, I don't know what it was that was funny, or I don't know what it was that I said. Cleo says, good afternoon, Cleo. Ashwin, hi Mehran, tuning in from India. Hello Ashwin, I think you've been here once before, or have you? Because I know Ashwin, I've heard of it, but don't remember if you've been there recently. Cleo says, that is ironic because his speech impediment was gone, yet he still wanted to escape it. Yes, that's right. Ashwin says, going through some tough times these past few days, how come to realize what my ex is talking about us with my friends. Oh, have come to realize that my ex is talking about us with my friends, and I've come to know that my friends have been rather meeting her than me. Well, because she's a girl. So your friends are boys, and you know, it's hard for boys to not socialize with girls. And now that you guys have broken up, I don't know if they have any, at least they think she will talk with them about you, or you know, I don't know. Don't worry about it. If it's broken up and you're not interested in her, or even if you are, just move on. Don't get bogged in why they're. If they have any, it could be two different friendship. They're friend with her and they're friend with you because they were friend with both of you anyhow. So at the moment, it's more pleasant, I guess, for boys to talk to girls than they always talk to guys. What do they say? It's at least they're sitting there. They're just beside themselves. They're sitting with a girl, you know. Especially in that neck of the wood, that seems to be such a humongous thing. Well, everywhere is, but it's even more so there, I think. I'm assuming you are in India, and culturally things makes it a little bit more difficult to have you know, socializing events with girls. And so when there's a girl that you know and she meets with you guys and talks, and it's very pleasant for you. So that's what they're doing. It's not like they're ditching you or they don't like you as a friend. It's just that, and everybody feels sorry for a girl when the girl talks emotionally, or when she's sharing her views about something. They cherish that because they find it so important that the girl is confiding in them. They feel important. That's basically it. Otherwise, they don't mean to betray you or not be friends with you. No. They have that need to feel useful or to enjoy that, discussion. Cleo says, Mehran, how would you explain the narcissist and how to deal with such people? Well, if you are independent in livelihood from a narcissist, that's no big deal. You just move on. You just diss him and tell him to fuck off, and don't be manipulated by them, and go. If you are in a relationship with a narcissist and you have needs because of you guys sharing a house, or paying rent together, or whatever it is that is dependent, or he is providing more, I'm assuming you're a lady. Yeah, he's providing more money into the living arrangement than you, or not talking about you, we're talking about in general, or whoever is the narcissist and provides or brings more money, that would help them to manipulate, or try to think that they can manipulate, and they behave badly or improper, and of course the rest of it is selfish and narcissistic and all that. So in such situations, the first situation was easy, just move on, don't give a damn, because you have no interest and no living arrangement dependency or financial dependency. In the other case, you need to make sure you're independent economically. And once that is taken care of, you simply will easily move away, or just give him the choice words that you want, your opinion, and simply don't care. And if you find yourself in love with the narcissist, well, that's your problem then. You gotta rationalize that, you gotta understand that, you see the hazards of it, you see the bad energy, and just simply say, no, you don't accept that, regardless of what. Just get yourself set up properly and just end that relationship. You don't have to fix the narcissist. You have to leave the narcissist. Let the bugger, deal with his own shit, and not you to be the place where he can dump or manipulate or, stuff like that. And you'll have an easy life, and you'll enjoy your life than having to deal with that kind of garbage. Ashwin says, it's been bothering me more because I'm not a very social person, and having to go through a breakup and now losing my friends to her is affecting me more than it should. Don't think of yourself that way. How did you find those friends if you're not a social person? You are. You just don't think there are other friends out there. There's so many other friends out there. Leave them, let them be. Let them go, and after a while they eventually see there's nothing there. If they're hoping to get somewhere with her, they'll see they won't. Maybe one of them will, but the rest of them will say, oh, holy shit, there's nothing else in here. They'll start flocking back towards you. Or if they have none of them, if none of them have such things in their mind, to have something, going on with that your ex, then eventually they get tired of what she's talking about. They get tired of that, and they get bored with it, and finally the novelty is gone, and they can see that they don't have an interest in her, or they can't get anywhere, and at the same time the stories are over and over, and then they start thinking about, oh, what the fuck, we lost our friend for what? So in the meantime, you build yourself. Do a little bit soul searching and learn more stuff, and be better. If you're at school, be better at your school. Focus on your studies. New activities, maybe, you know, some sports you like to enjoy, or some things that you like to pick up, and you will meet other people, and you will meet other friends, you will meet other girlfriends, and suddenly everything changes in your mind. So don't get stuck on your friends. That's perhaps is a good indication for you to know, good test for you to know who's your friend, who's not. The ones who are flocking around her is, well, because it's maybe hard to talk to girls and they feel good about it, but if they continue, then you know they're not really friends. So why would you want them anyhow? Eventually they would have dissipated anyhow. They would just disappeared. So now you know. So regulate your friendship. The ones who come around you, be nice with them, but don't, you know, don't complain, why you guys are not coming to me, why you going? Don't, the hell with it. Let them do what they want. They'll see eventually if they can continue being friends. That girl is going to find another boyfriend. Eventually they all have to flock away from her, because she's going to be in a relationship. So they can't be just hanging around. So then they will come back to you. And then you tell them, listen, jackasses, what happened to you? You guys just went to her instead of coming to your friends. We were friends first. So it's not your shortcomings, it's there. So focus on your life and you'll find new friends. Excalibur says, Lord Mehran, you crack me up when you said once you move on, you feel it. You don't check the engine if it's running while driving. Okay, good. All right. Now, Robert says, I look forward to one day making an appointment. Okay, Robert, that would be good. Black Hat says, lol, that hell tour thing is the best thing I have heard in a while. Yeah, that's right. You never know. They were just on a break. That's all. You may be seeing things on a break moment and judging it as if it's the whole entirety of the time. That's how it is. That's the mistake. Watch out for when the time comes. You gotta put your head under the pool of shit. You don't want to fall for that. Frank says, Mehran, sorry, rules. 29-year-old male living in New York. Okay, great. Thank you very much. And Excalibur, oops. Excalibur says, thumbnails look amazing with the big text. Yes. Yes, Alper saved the day, and I'm on my way to make all those changes. But sure, it does take time, but hey, it's great. So far, I think maybe 200 of them have already been done, and I'll do another 200. Hopefully in a month we should have them all done. I gotta have you know, all the other private ones released, so we can also have the thumbnail on Excel sheet. I can send it to Alper. Frank says, Mehran, how do you move on from a breakup where you discovered you're an anxious and depressed person? Oh, how you recovered from a breakup where you discovered you are an anxious and depressed person. I have this fear no one else will accept or understand those struggles of anxiety, depression. So are you telling me that you have anxiety and depression, and you wonder if when your prospect girlfriend to be or your friend would know, then they would not be able to understand your situation or condition? Frank continues, my ex had the same struggle, so they understood them. Frank, I'm having a little problem with the they and who you. Is it you who has the anxiety and depression, or is it somebody else? I need a little clarification. I'm going to read that again, Mehran. How do you move on from a breakup where you discovered you're an anxious and depressed person. I have this fear no one else will accept or understand those struggles of anxiety and depression. So that tells me you have anxiety and depression, and you wonder if somebody else will accept it if she wants to be in a relationship with you. My ex had the same struggle, so they understood them. What is them? Your ex had the same struggle, so they understood them. Who's they? Who's them? Okay. Anyhow, I think of course, obviously, you have gone to your doctor and you've been assessed by your doctor if that anxiety or depression needs any medication, or what assessment they've had and what they've suggested. These are all things that I expect and I assume you've done, because, as you know, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a psychiatrist, and I don't claim to be, so therefore I want to make sure that nobody gets misled here. What I say is about what I know, what I think, and what my experiences, research of normal kind allows. So I'm not a medical professional, so you need to ask such concerns from your doctor. Having said that, now I assume that what you should do is simply be yourself. Take care of yourself, whether you're on taking your medication, if you have medication, or if you're managing it based on recommendation of your doctor. However it is, you follow that, continue that. At the same time, you just simply don't worry about who's going to be seeing you as what. You just enjoy your life. And in this big life, there's all kinds of people who understand or not understand certain things. And eventually you will find people, girls, who are actually perfectly fine with who you are. And the challenge that you're dealing with, you're managing with, would not be any issue with them, because they're focusing on the entirety of you. They're focusing on who you are. They're not focusing on a challenge that everybody has some kind of challenge. I haven't seen anybody who's not challenged by something. It could be this or that, or depression or anxiety, or this illness or that shortcoming, or that physical appearance, or not, all kinds of things. So you're dealing with what it is that you're dealing with, and that's perfect. And you will find somebody. Just don't focus on what you're dealing with. Focus on what you focus on what you're dealing with when it needs to be focused on. But you focus on you, who you are, because you're not what you're dealing with. You're a combination of everything, and what you're dealing with is one part of the things that, you know, it makes you who you are. And you're dealing with different aspects of life, and this is one thing else that you're dealing with. Doesn't mean that if I'm supposed to, you know, be focusing on what issue is that I'm dealing with, instead of focusing on who I am and how I want to interact with that girl. Well, there'll be girls and there'll be people who will be more than happy to get to know you and interact with you based on who you are, not based on if you have a cold, or based on if you have one leg limping or whatnot. They will see the entirety of you, and that is what you should be focusing on while you're taking care of your condition that you say, you know. But since I don't know what level it is it just your doctor said it's just a, you know, passing thing, or something that is with your character, or is it something that needs medicine, or I don't know any of that, so I can't you know, say anything more about it. That's why I'm so limited in that response to that question. Zahin says, hello Mehran, my favorite person thank you, in YouTube. Okay. Sim, I'm late. No, there's going to be guys, let me just fix this chair here for a second. One moment. Just needed to make it a little bit more comfortable. They say people can understand as much as their bum can take it. And I was just getting tired because it was hard. So now my brain opened up. So So let's see. uh, uh, hmm. Okay. And Zain says, okay, I'll ask my question tomorrow. Okay, good, okay. Robert says, new thumbnails titles makes choosing a topic easier. Looks good. Okay, great. Thanks for the feedback, guys. Black Hat says, how do you know if you really like or have a passion for something? All my life I have wanted to study medicine, but I don't even know if it's because I really like it. Well, how do you know you don't like it if you don't try it? It's like saying all my life I wanted to have this sweet, but I don't know if I would like it. Well, take a bit of piss, put it in your mouth. Not bit of piss, bit of piece of it. Put it in your mouth. You will see if you like it or not. That's what you get when you want to talk fast and catch up with all the questions. So go and take some of the courses and see if you have a knack for it and if you enjoy it, or if just the idea of it sounds good to you. You know? For medicine, you got to really study hard. You can't just become a doctor and not knowing shit, just pass the exam. You got to know the shit so you can really help people. So, and he continues, says, or because my mind has been conditioned to seek approval from others by studying such career. For example, look, he is so smart, he will make lots of money. Yeah, this could be some of the reasons that you want to be a doctor, because maybe you wanted to be a doctor when you were a child and you still are carrying that conditioning that you did to yourself because of the expectation of the society, just as you said. But now see if you like to take it because you want to learn it and you want to have a career of that, you want to spend your life in that way. Maybe you don't, but look inwardly. And if so, if you're not sure, take a couple of courses of it. You know, you don't have to be a medical student to take some heavy biology courses and see if you like it or not. And then step by step, take enough of it and eventually say, hey, I want more, I want more. Then you might decide, hey, that should be your major. So tiptoe, and then you'll figure it out. Ashman says, thank you so much, Mehran. It was really insightful. I'm going to work towards what you shared, hoping the next I tune in, things are much better. Okay, dear. Frank says, Mehran, correct. We both did. Mehran said, okay, both. Okay, so that means you and your ex both had anxieties and depression, and you were both okay with understanding it, I guess. And Frank continues, them being my struggle with anxiety and depression. Oh, I see. Sorry, it was on my iPad. Hard to type on. This is stupid. That's just great. Okay, I got you. So, okay. So I guess I answered already. You know, look, it's like playing double tennis. You're in the same court with two players, mixed double, you and your girlfriend. You got to be compatible. She got to understand how strong you are at some things. Maybe your forehand is strong. And when it comes to your backhand, she will choose her forehand to catch up. Like you say, if you're on the right side of the court and she's on the left side of the same half of court, and you're strong in your forehand, when the ball comes to your backhand, it's her forehand, given she's right-handed. So you will just let her take that ball, and she knows that she has a strong forehand and she's okay with it if you let her take that ball that is in your backhand. So that's a combination of orchestrating that together. So you will find a girlfriend who has great respect and admiration for your strong points, and then she also understands and knows that you have some other points that are not as strong, and at the same time she knows that she has some weak points. and that you're actually understanding that. So in that way, you both are on equal basis, and you're helping each other out. The strong point and not so strong points of each person doesn't always have to be in the same category. Maybe your strong point is in the way you deal with life and the way you analyze things, or the way you do your job, or the way you deal with certain aspects of life, that is maybe economics or on practical basis. And then your not so strong point or weak point would be maybe on the anxiety or handling your mood and stuff like that a little bit, yeah, which you take care of that with your doctor and stuff like that. And her strong point could be, okay, maybe she does or does not have the same challenge in the same category, but she has other challenges, could be in different kinds of the aspects of life. Maybe the expertise in some knowledge or some activities, or in some job, or in some negotiation of day-to-day challenges, but she doesn't have the challenge of anxiety. Or so each person has some kind of a strong and a weaker point, and that together, being a boyfriend-girlfriend, is supposed to mean that we are now going to approach this game together at one court, and use our strong point and weak points and help each other to turn it all what comes toward us to meet with our strongest points. But each one of us will take part of it, whoever is better in that department. In that way, you guys are always helping each other in different categories, and it'll work out fine, and you may simply have an enjoyable game. It makes double. Maybe I should take back my tennis. Very clear how mixed double should be. Okay, now Larab says, Mehran, how do you stop memory triggers of my ex? You have to stop the memory triggers of your ex, not me. Oh, it says, Mehran, how do I stop memory triggers of my... Okay, that's correct, sure. As I mentioned, small things trigger her memory, and my anxiety comes back. Well, again, we talked about memory and triggers before, and I have many videos on it, which you should hopefully search and find out which ones you want to look, or maybe just go on the playlist. I think I have a playlist called Anxiety, or playlist Memory, Breakup and Your Memory, things like that. We talked about it, that when memory comes in, which triggers certain emotional files as well, and you get bombarded with all that good memory, which usually you remember, and the emotional files of the intimacy and all the other stuff, lovey-dovey stuff, comes with it, those trigger each other. But the thing is, that doesn't trigger automatically is what you should step in and trigger that as well, in order to have the complete picture of that whole experience. So the good memory and the emotional files that comes with it will not bamboozle you, make you miss her, while it's missing the other fragments of that file, of that relationship, which doesn't come up automatically, and then doesn't let you see the whole entirety of the pictures, and you miss her. Then that is the bad stuff. The bad stuff doesn't come up by default. The good memory and the intimacy and all the things and that you like, it's in human nature, it brings those naturally, selects those. So you gotta simply say, oh, it's time for memory about her? Okay, wait a second. You know, Nacho, I'm gonna get the rest of the stuff that doesn't come up by default up as well. I'm going to talk about the problems, I'm going to about the things that we didn't like, the things that bothered me, the things that I wasn't happy with, the reasons that the breakup happened, all the things, I'm going to bring them up too. So now I have a balanced picture. Good stuff, fun stuff, intimacy, and the shit broke loose, and all the dramas and all the stuff that really bothered me. And all the things that there wasn't, you know, a compliment to me. The affirmation wasn't there. I had to try too hard. all of that told me that it wasn't a good relationship. Whether she broke it up or you broke it up, you will remember the whole thing, and the whole thing would be more knowledge than the limited knowledge, more limited knowledge than you would need to have, which would help you to set you on a more comfortable planes. Okay. Now, Black Hat says, thank you so much. You're welcome. Aso says, Mehran, why do love turn into hate? Love doesn't turn into hate. Your need from that person, expectations, inability to handle your greed, ego, desires, and the affirmations you need, the compliments you need, your needs and desires not fulfilled, which you're focused on fulfilling them, including your ego, how good you are, how great you are, how they should see my image. They're not paying homage to my image. They're not seeing me as I see myself in my own mind. All that creates that I'm not getting what I want. And you're responsible for me not getting what I want. So I hate the source, and the source is you. And certainly that love, which it was really lust and fun, and somehow you guys call it love before it has become love, and when it turns out, you think love turned into hate. No, it wasn't love to begin with. And if it was such a shallow thing that it lost its importance and focus of yours on that emotion for some egoistic or desires that you wanted fulfilled to fluff your ego, and you didn't get it. Therefore, now suddenly that what you call love, which wasn't really what this now turned into hate. So how easily can it turn to hate? Love doesn't easily turn to hate unless it wasn't really love. It was just mistaken for love. So there's some things in there, but mostly lust, mostly interest, mostly a way to feel better about yourself and complete that image that you have of yourself in your mind, and you wanted the kind of image that other people would see you as by being with this girl, or you know, whoever you are, I mean that boy. So it doesn't by itself turn to hate. Now, Frank says, thank you, Mehran. It is tough when you get blamed for everything. Yes. And one of the things that human being doesn't like is to be blamed, especially if you're a decent person. You don't want to be blamed. Why? Why am I responsible for that shit? You know, at best, maybe partly, but why all? Or maybe nothing at all. It makes you look deep at yourself. Have to realize I'm still a good person. Of course you are. Are you thinking that your goodness, your quality, your value is in the hands of other people's opinion and words? What is that supposed to mean? You think, know you. In order to give you value, you got to know something. In order to analyze or give value to a diamond or gold or something, you got to get to know that gold, right? There are certain tests you do, scratches and put it in the solution and see how it reacts, what color it gets, and you know how much copper it has in it, or how much other metal is in it, and then how much of it is gold, and you make an opinion, you make an analysis of its characteristics. Or the diamond the same. You got to clear the color, the impurities inside, the light passes through it, all that, how it's been cut and all that. You got to get to know it to give value. And you are telling me that that person who you think their opinion and their words is actually giving you value, know you well enough to be able to assess you and properly and give you their opinion that worth something that indicates your value and worth? They don't even know themselves so well. So what are they judging you based on? The very limited knowledge they have of you, which is based on if you have fulfilled the pleasure that they're seeking from you and their desires and needs that they have for what you can provide. And it has nothing to do with they know you. They don't know you. They only know what you do for them. And on that basis, they give you value because it's based on what they get from you that helps them to feel pleasure or fulfill their desire and make them feel good or give them certain kind of a wealth in monetary or in emotional values or based on what they need and what their shortcomings are. And they're fulfilling it with you, with what you are giving them. But they don't know you. It's based on what you do for them. Which means, what? Are you expecting yourself to be more of a gopher so somebody will give you good words? Fuck them. Free yourself from that bullshit. Don't be a slave to other people's opinion about you when somebody else is supposed to give an opinion about them for them to feel good about themselves or bad about themselves. Who are they? Who died and left them in charge that they can now be the currency of your value? And by their words and opinion, now suddenly you become valuable or you become devalued. What kind of bullshit is that? You get to know yourself inwardly. The whole purpose of mine from these 900 some odd videos, for God's sake, guys, is for you to be able to know yourself inwardly. Not because what I say. Go examine it. See for yourself. Is fear just as I say it is? Feel it. Not because I say it is. Because the person, the scholars that I did my research on for years, they also told me, don't do it, don't believe it because we say so. Look inward. And I looked inward. I tested everything. I pondered everything. Thousands of hours, days after days, years, contemplating of what I have heard, their lectures, their interviews that they've been sitting and doing with the old psychologists around the world, professors of universities with their education in quantum physics, and all the questions they came up with from this scholar who never read anybody else's books. And I never read his books either. But I pondered and analyzed what his lectures, what his words, what his discussions with the other psychologists and professors in university interviews were. And on those bases, I tried to look inwardly to see what he's saying. Does it make sense inside me? I am the test cube. I got to test myself on what I'm hearing, what I'm learning, to understand it. And when I understand it, then I can help others. So the same thing. Don't believe what I'm saying. Look inwardly. Go look at my videos about fear, about how desire is born, what is ego, how they interact with everything else about you, what is thoughts and consciousness, how are they related, how are they interrelated, all of these, and how do they play a role in the way you negotiate your daily life and the way you see things, perceive things, and where are you in what is order, what is mechanical process, what are you made out of, what is the entirety of you, what is your center. If you understand all that, that's why I'm here, that's what I've done, all these things, which I don't see enough people taking advantage of it. I will see it when we have 1 million subscribers. But once you learn all those things, and once you go to my site, mind@6truth.com, and buy the books that I've put there, just a plug, don't worry, it's all very cheap. But you need to do that for the channel to have economic viability, to do more stuff. Anyhow, if you learn all those things, then you understand that how important it is for you to know yourself. And if it takes that much for you to know yourself, then how do you think that they know you? That their word suddenly is a currency for your value? Let's see. This moved. Did it move? While I was talking, did it move? Okay. Yeah, okay. And so it makes you look deep at yourself. Have to realize I'm still a good person. Of course you are. We just were not comparable. Even if we had the same issue. Yeah, of course. No doubt. Go on, free yourself from all this bullshit. You don't need other people telling you you're okay. You know you're okay. I know my shortcomings. I know my strong points. You know your shortcomings. You know your strong points. Everybody has shortcomings. Everybody has some strong points. So we're humans. Nobody is perfect and everybody is perfect. Because what is perfect? Perfect is what you are. Perfect is the imperfection. Because the whole world is, the whole universe is based on the imperfection. It was a chaotic thing. It was a chaos. It came out of chaos, right? So it was the imperfection that brought this perfection that we call it perfection. So the whole perfection is in the imperfection. And if you feel you're perfect, that's how you should be thinking, because all of us, as imperfect as we are perfectly perfect. Have I confused you yet? If I haven't, I will try. After having this bit of tea. Now let's move on to also, which array of questions, which is wonderful. Why do I feel like I lived enough and that all I need sometimes is just to die? Well, that all questions were good, but this is bullshit. It's like saying, I think I have eaten enough food and I feel I don't need to eat any more food. Well, really? How are you going to live if you don't eat enough food? How are you going to experience more of this experience of life that you've been blessed with if you are not alive anymore? You think you can experience life when you die? This is why people make such a big stupid mistake when they talk about these sort of things, even jokingly. Because they think even if they are not alive, they can still experience these wonderful things that they like about it. No, there's so much for you to learn. You have condensed the whole life in your experiences. Your experiences up to now at this age is just that much of life. But the rest of your experiences you haven't seen, and you think there is no more experience for you to see. No, it's just that you have seen this much. Do you think when you were 2-year-old, you had the experience of from 2-year-old to 20-year-old or whatever age you are, 23-year-old? No, but at 2-year-old, if you would have been able to think that, oh, I've experienced everything and there's nothing else to experience, so I better die. But you waited around, you said, oh, there were so many other things in this next 21 years that I stayed alive that I never thought I would even come across it. Because it wasn't time for you to understand it. It wasn't time for you to come across it. But time will show you what else is there for you to experience, even though if you think there's not much more for you to experience. So let's stop talking about this nonsense. We're here in this world. We got to enjoy every bit of it and learn as much as we can. And we will all someday die anyhow. Why should we expedite it? There is no reason. There is no reason. It's like saying I go to this merry-go-round, I go to this playground, and I know we're going to eventually, after 5 hours being here, we got to go. So why might as well just go now, which is only 15 minutes we're here. Does that make sense? No, you're here to experience the whole fragment of this life, this playground. Enjoy it. There's things to explore. Just because you haven't seen what you will explore doesn't mean there's nothing to explore. If you cannot see something, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. If you have not experienced something, doesn't mean that other experiences for you to enjoy, learn, and better yourself doesn't exist. So don't think that way. Strong, positive. This life, we got to do our best in this life and enjoy it as much as we can. And when the time comes, then okay. But not before. This doesn't make sense. Ashwin says, it is wrong for me to want her back. Is it wrong for me to want her back? I still keep hoping for a day when things between us get back to how they were. It seems almost impossible, but it feels stranger to get accustomed to not hope. Why? Why? Why do you think that wanting her back is hope? Why not wanting a better life, advanced life, things that you want to accomplish in this life to be your hope? Why she should be your hope? Why other women that you haven't met yet and they're amazing and awaiting every one of us out there should not be your hope? Why accomplishing yourself other than in relationships, in personal life, in learning, in researching, in understanding life, in connection with the universe, in connection with nature, understand the energy flow of the universe and your energy flow and interaction and interchange with them. Why can't these be your goal and your hope? Your only hope is to be in this world and just do some eating and some fucking and that's it? Suddenly this is the whole meaning of life? You're at this age are functioning on hormone levels. That's why you think everything is about relationship. But relationship is just a fragment of your life. There's so much more in this life for you to accomplish and learn and build yourself upon that you haven't even begun to imagine. Relationship is part of it. It's not supposed to consume the whole entirety of your life. I understand we all like that. The ones who like girls and the girls who like boys or whatever your relationship, I understand that. These are all how you're programmed. But that program is only part of your life. There's so much more in this life to learn and to contribute back, to make other people's life and the whole universe life and existence a more vibrant, a better. Regardless of how many wrong things are going in the world, you just do it the way that it could be positive and help people and yourself and the whole nature, energy flow as well. And forget about that. Forget about that getting back to her, because you haven't met somebody else, so you keep thinking about this because that's the only thing you have in your inventory of your memory. That's the only experience you had. Wait till you meet somebody else, you won't even give a shit about this other relationship that didn't work. What hope? What do you think she is? She's got all the answers? Is that what you want her for? You want her for sex. You want her for keeping that order that you had with her, that experience, that mechanical process, that whole idea of the way things were together, because you're conditioned, you're used to that. That's how human being is. But it's not that she's the only game in town. She's the only thing that you can base your, express your emotions and hopes and love and, work toward pleasing her or being with her. She's not the only one. It's just one. But because you don't have anyone else to compare it with, or you be busy with, you think you always go back to this memory. You want her back because you know how it was. Well, wait, be patient and go and do your things. Be prepared and build yourself, and you will meet other girls that you'll say, oh my goodness, this is far beyond what I ever thought I could meet. And it's much better than my last relationship. That will happen. Be patient. Keep building yourself. Excalibur has commentaries. And Excalibur says, Mehran, you're a great conversationalist. A hot lady can say hello if you wanted to you could elaborate on hello for hours. Okay, all right. Alper, the hero of the day. Hi Mehran, hello Alper. I guess I just got towards the end of it. It's 12:30 a.m. here. Yeah, well, it's okay. I will load it up just in a second. Woo, my goodness, this is the longest we've ever been. I just tried to catch up with all the questions. Alper, again, thank you very much. I can't say thank you enough. I'm still on it. I will send the rest of the stuff as I finish them, as you mentioned. When I finish them, I send them. And thank you for the ones that you sent for now. Sometimes I have too much of a thing. I couldn't shorten the title short enough, and then when it's on the thumbnail, it comes a little bit lower. If I try to leave the lower right hand corner empty, because there's a time clock that shows on it when these things are being viewed when it shows on YouTube, and that time clock could cover the last word that is closest to the lower right edge of the thumbnail. So I don't know if it's possible. These are all fine, but it doesn't matter. People will figure it out. But when I'm doing it by hand, I usually try to move them a little bit higher, not right on the edge, but a little bit higher, so it finishes way before the lower right hand corner, so that time clock or whatever it is that covers it will not cover the last word. If that's possible, I'd be grateful if you think that looks good, because I received all of them and they look amazing. They're just great. Sometimes I have too many words. I couldn't cut it shorter, and I don't want it to be covered with that clock thingy. Again, thanks a million. I certainly appreciate it. Aso says, whoa, first time I listen Mehran say, really? No, I've said that before. The F word. When it's called for. Okay, let's see. I just jumped again. What the heck is going on here? All right. Frank says, my ex expected me to basically be her Superman and help her when she would let her anxiety, which was blamed on my actions. Yes, because, you know, everybody wants to say, I'm not like this, it's your fault. But I ended up drowning myself trying to help her and myself. She would argue I did not put her first and I was selfish. Well, you don't have to put her first. You see, that's the whole thing. When your girlfriend turns around and says, you didn't put me first, and you always try to say, no, I did, and you want to go on and prove to her that you've been good to her. There's another approach. When you know it's unreasonable, and she says, you didn't put me first, you say, why should I? Why should I? Why do you expect me to put you first? Do you put me first all the time? And why should you put me first all the time? There are things that I can put you first because it just can't have priority, because no other priority is more important than that at that point in time on that subject. But I cannot put you first all the time. Why should I? The most important thing in the world, qualified, is me. The me, the you, the center of you, the who you are, the how you're put together. And you want you to ignore your me and put me ahead all the time? Would you do that? Would that be wise to do it? Is that what human being psyche does? Put somebody else all the time ahead, unless that's your children, that's your child, that's different, that's your offspring, because that's the instinct, that's natural. You'll die for him or her, that's your child. But if it's not that, then why would you think it's qualified and justified to put someone else ahead just because you guys sleep together, or you're his girlfriend? Why? You got to discuss this with her, make her understand that it is not supposed to be by default that she should be first, and it's not supposed to be by default that you should be first in her mind. No, they're places. Balance. But you try to defend it, no, I did, then she'll say, well, you didn't, because she always wants more. That's her ego now coming to be. That she wants to prove how important she is by having you to place the important on her versus your own needs, which is not reasonable at all. So tell her, listen, darling, sometimes I can put you first because you're very important to me. But sometimes it is not necessary to put you first because you don't need to be that important, because there's other things that needs my attention and should be placed on the forefront of the importance list. It's simple. Okay, I hope that was something useful. Larab says, you are so young. Also, okay, you're talking to Asa, okay. All right. Tiatat, female from Atlanta. Hello, female from Atlanta, Tiatat. I've responded to your, a few of your comments on YouTube, I remember, because the name is quite challenging to pronounce, so it stuck on my mind. Tiatat or Tiatate. I don't know if it's a name or just a screen name, whatever it is. I believe I remember you've been here a couple of times as well. Larab Khan says, I'm 19 and I've had those thoughts. Okay, you're talking to Aso, I guess. Okay, Larab Khan, and they asked myself, okay. If answer is no, okay. if you guys have that kind of a thought in your mind, go on my channel, and I've got a bunch of videos on these sort of thoughts, and you just search for the word for it, and you will see it. And I think that would help you to see some things that you may be not paying attention to. Okay, these guys are talking together. Let's move on. Let's help me out here. Okay, Alper says, all right, we'll check him out. Yes, it's possible. Okay, great. Thank you, Alper. Looks like I caught up. Excalibur says, wow, Mehran, 3 hours. You're probably sorry you started the stream. No, actually, it's almost 3 hours. I'm almost done. I caught up. But I think I'm gonna have a big meal right now after this, and I kid you not, I ordered some wonderful restaurant meal last night. It's in my fridge waiting for me to finish this, and I'll attend to it. And I love to have vegetarian food, but sometimes I just can't get enough protein through it, especially that I like workout, so I need to feed protein in order to get the results that I'm looking for. So I have kebab in the fridge, guys, so if you guys want to come over, I have enough for everybody. Frank says, that is true, Mehran. I just felt guilty because she would say, because I did not put her first all the time, I did not love her, or it was not a true love. Manipulation, it's cruel. Yeah, you know, don't stop that. Stop feeling guilty at all. You feel that way because you're a decent man, you're a good man, you're a good human being. You mean well, you do your best, and you help others, and you definitely, I'm sure you did pay enough attention, and you cared about your girlfriend. And these are just because somebody wants to improve her own image of herself in her own mind by having you to constantly pay attention to her. That's not really necessarily the way to do it. So she should take the truth, the fact that you've done your best, and she should also see how much of what she expects she had been forking out for you. So then probably it will be more clear for her. So don't worry about that. Don't blame yourself at all. You're just a decent person, and you expect yourself to be pleasing people. Stop being a people pleaser. That's not good, and that's not necessary at all. Just be balanced, and how they treat you, you treat them, and maybe a little bit better. That's all. That's the extent of it. Lareb says, Mehran, what do you think of Jordan B. Peterson or Gary V? If you know them, I don't know any of them. So that's easy, nothing. Excalibur says, bon appetit, well-deserved meal after an ocean of questions. Oh, God bless you all, I caught up. There's no more question. At this point, I take the advantage and say thank you very much, guys, for being here and giving your time to me, and I appreciate spending this time with me. I love you all, and hope that you will think it through and look inwardly for your answers, and watch the videos, share the videos, and check the site mindthatseekstruth.com. Go through the books, and hopefully you'll pick up the Mind That Seeks Truth book of choice, which is the Me, My Psyche, and I look forward to see you guys next time. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others, and don't forget, you can always make an appointment with me for Skype consultation. I'm just a Skype away. Talk to you soon, and bye for now.